Зазвичай так трапляється, коли ти вирішуєш зробити такий собі невеличкий захід. Ну, людей може 40-50. Ти думаєш, ви зберетесь невеличким колом, тихо собі поп'єте чаю, поспілкуєтесь про цікаву тему, а потім ти знаходиш людей, які говорять про те, що «О, бренд роботодавця, слухайте, а я буду партнером у вашій цій спілці». Далі ще один, і врешті-решт це стає величезним заходом. І я можу сказати, це підтверджує тільки одне – бренд роботодавця важливий. Дякую вам, що ви підтримуєте бренд роботодавця, тому що кожен із вас сьогодні робить промо свого бренду. Тож, вітання, оплески вам. Насправді, сьогодні зібралось дуже багато компаній, і є компанії, які прийшли цілими командами, наприклад, для того, щоб підтримати свого спікера. Сьогодні тут є представники компанії «Сіклум». Компанія «Сіклум», покажіть, де ви є. Також у нас є, точно знаю, кілька представників компанії «DAX». Де ви? Ну і, звичайно, тут повинно бути, трошки людей з компанії, коледжу «Дан IT». Насправді, наш коледж готує IT-спеціалістів. І, звичайно, виникає питання, який взагалі зв'язок з брендом роботодавця. Коли ми обговорювали це питання з нашим партнером Алкор, яка також підтримала цю подію, Аня мені тоді сказала про те, що слухай, ти взагалі людям розкажи, який у тебе зв'язок з брендом роботодавця. Насправді, я починала працювати як спеціаліст з навчання і розвитку років 17 тому. І тоді у нас була виключно одна позиція, Human Resources Manager, людина, яка займається людським ресурсом. Але з того часу змінилося дуже багато. І все частіше я зустрічаю слово «партнер», тому що люди не є ресурсом. Люди є тим двигуном, який рухає наші з вами інноваційні компанії. І компанія стає партнером для кожного зі своїх співробітників. Тому зміна акцентів є катастрофічно важливою. Я дуже рада, що кожного разу, коли ми працевлаштовуємо наших студентів дизайну, програмування, зараз це буде ще кібербезпека, діджитал-маркетинг, ми намагаємося якомога більше дати інформації про компанії, в яких вони будуть працювати. Це екскурсії в ці компанії, це знайомство з технічними спеціалістами, з HR-ами, тому що бажання рухатись, бажання бути найкращим, проявити себе найкращим чином з'являється тоді, коли з'являється хімія. Коли з'являється хімія між роботодавцем і працівником. І сьогодні у нас такий прекрасний захід, який буде повністю присвячений кейсам. Про те, як втілювати це в реальному житті. Я собі пообіцяла дві речі. По-перше, що я не буду говорити дурниці зі сцени. Я сподіваюся, що пройшло 3 хвилини, і я ще тримаюся, що все нормально. Другий момент. Я пообіцяла собі, що зроблю все, щоб ви якомога активніше змогли понетворкатися. Для нас важливо, щоб ви так само стали учасником цього заходу. Ми будемо з вами говорити, ми хочемо, щоб ви говорили про свої бренди, ви розповідали, наскільки ви класні, наскільки вам потрібно рухатись вперед, і яких класних талантів вам зараз бракує, як ви їх плануєте собі шукати на ринку. Тому я вас дуже прошу, активність – це наше все. Скажіть, будь ласка, кому подобається пейзаж за вікном? Скажіть, будь ласка, а кому дуже-дуже цікава сьогоднішня тема? Хто готовий активно вступати в діалог і розповідати про свій досвід? Я думаю, що кількість рук з часом збільшиться. Мої оплески вам. І ще раз вітаю вас на цьому заході. Буквально кілька слів я хотіла б надати, тому що для нас це насправді дуже велика честь приймати вас тут. Я хотіла б надати нашому співзасновнику коледжу IT Ерану Ласеру. Прошу.
Hello. This is too loud. First of all, I want to thank everyone hearing me at the end. No. So, we will use this. So, my name is Sharon and I'm one of the co-founders of IT. It's an honor to be here, and I've just popped to Kiev last night. I'm coming here once in a month or two to visit the training center, to give lectures. I think that in the past 12 months I've been lecturing all over of Ukraine in various conferences. I don't want to give a long speech, just to congratulate everyone who came here, and may you have a very enjoyable event. It's amazing to see this amount of professionals sitting in our premises with the amazing view of Kiev. We got a very nice day here, better than I think all the last year that I've been here. Okay, so it is amazing. And for me, it is very exciting moment, since all the time when I'm establishing IT training centers all over the world, and basically I started these initiatives in Israel 25 years ago, we were strategically moving with cooperation with the industry. So we are not just a training center who trains people how to be software professionals, but we have a very strong ties and long-lasting relationships with the industry. And this is something that all over the world we are trying to do, and I think that this event is one of the important ones from our point of view of having connections with the IT community, with the HR community in the IT sphere, etc. So I'm very thrilled with this, and thank you for all the partners and all the presenters, and good luck to all of us. Thank you very much.
Можливо, ви бачили, звернули увагу на ту інформацію, що захід у нас багатомовний. Це означає, що ми дозволили спікерам говорити тою мовою, якою їм комфортно. Насправді у нас буде звучати українська, російська, англійська мова. І я сподіваюся, що спікери будуть розмовляти з вами своїм серцем і душею, і вам буде зрозуміло абсолютно все. Тож, перший спікер – це прекрасна жінка, у якої чарівна просто посмішка. Коли ми вперше познайомилися, у мене склалось враження, що я її знаю дуже багато років. І це враження підтвердилось, коли ми сьогодні вперше зустрілися тет-а-тет, коли ми вперше побачилися вживу, не по скайпу чи якомусь іншому комунікатору. Шарон Ізраїль є засновницею і керує також компанією Extreme Miles, яка є маркетинговою агенцією повного циклу і надає послуги як у Європі, так і у Сполучених Штатах Америки. І тема емплойер-брендингу є для Шарон дуже особистою і дуже важливою. Тож, привітайте, будь ласка, нашого першого спікера Шарон Ізраїль.
Hello, everyone. Zdorovenki buли. First time in Kiev, so I only have 2 words till now. I arrived last night, and it's my first time. Next time, I promise to know some more words. It's a difficult one, yeah? Thank you, everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here and to see the full house. It's very exciting, and it's very difficult to compete with the view. So I hope I will do a good job. You have a beautiful city, so thank you for inviting me. We are going to talk today about employer branding. Anybody who already discussed this inside the company? Employer branding, an issue? Yeah? Some of you, it's the first time you're really discussing it? Yeah? So everybody knows what I'm talking about, a little bit. Too loud or too close? I'm good? Yeah? Without? No, it's not going to work without, right? Unfortunately. Okay, so let's start. I just need this. Thank you. Okay, so why is employer branding such a big fuss? What's going on? It wasn't like this a few years ago. It's been very, very strong in the past, I would say, 3 years. I myself, as a marketing person, I've been doing marketing forever now, and as an agency, we started doing employer branding projects maybe 3 years ago. So I wasn't familiar with this topic before, even though it's not as young. It's been there for a few years, but it's very strong in the last 3 years. And why is that? So there are a few main reasons that I will talk about shortly, just so that we understand. Please let me know if you can't hear me, if I talk too fast, too slow, just help me here, okay? So basically, there is growing competition. I know most of the people in this room are from high-tech companies and software-related companies, but I can tell you now, it's not only in high-tech. It's in all areas. It's happening in commercial companies, industrial companies. All the retail companies are suffering a lot for this. Some of the best projects that I will show you today were done by IKEA, by Adidas, okay? Not just high-tech companies. There is an issue with the competition. It's much stronger than before. And if you add to that the fact that there is underemployment. What do I mean by underemployment? It's not unemployment. It's not that people are looking for a job and there's not enough jobs. It's that young generation, Generation Y, anybody here from Generation Y? Yeah? You don't want to work as much as we did. That's the saying. I actually think you're right. I think you're better people than we are. Generation Y, and Generation Y will conquer the market, okay? By 2020, 75% of the market will be dominated by Generation Y. So you rule, okay? And they don't agree to work as much as we did. Surely they don't agree to work as much as our parents did, okay? It's getting better in every generation. So there is underemployment. And if you add to this the fact that many of these Generation Y people, they want to be freelancers. They don't want this study job with security. No, they want to work 3 times a week maybe. They want to switch jobs. They don't see any boundaries. It's a small world. They want to move from country to country. This year I want to spend 3 years now in London. Maybe I'll like it better. So this is all creating a big problem for the companies. And smart companies use this. If I give you an example of what Google did. Anybody here from Google? Not yet. So Google had a very, well, you have to be Google to do it, but still. They understood this is what's going on, and they have this policy for employees. Everybody's going to look for a job at Google after this. You can choose where you work. It's not for everyone. It's not, it doesn't work as well for HR like you or for marketing like me. But if you're a software developer, for example, and you work in the Tel Aviv office, but you really want to live in Kiev for a few months, so you just write to your manager and say, listen, in August, because unless it's August, it's too cold here, right? In August, I want to be 3 months in Kiev. No problem. You can go. You can do the same job from a different office. It doesn't matter to me. So if there's no boundaries, if I'm Google, I can use this as a benefit, okay? Most companies cannot do this, so it's more complicated for them. And the last reason is that new candidates today, and you are mostly HR people, so you know this better than me, they are smarter than before. Why are they smarter? They don't just learn about the company from the company, right? They go where? Glassdoor, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, friends, everything. They know much more than what we are willing to tell them. And we need to consider this. So this is the reason why employer branding became an issue. And now, how do we deal with it? So first of all, what is employer branding? Let's just make the basic statement of what it is so we can all talk about the same topic, okay? So employer branding is your reputation as an employer, okay? It is how you show your value to your employees and to your potential employees. There are a few more audiences I will talk about in a second. The difference between this and the company brand, do you know what it is? It's clear to us? Yeah? Okay? It's very easy. It's not what you sell to your customers, it's what you sell to your employees. It has to be very well linked. It cannot be separated. First of all, if I sell something to my employees, my customers will see it as well. The way the company is perceived by my employees is the way the customers will also understand when they meet my employees. So it has to be very well connected, but it has a different angle to it. I look at it as a mirror with two sides, okay? But they have to be connected. EVP. Do you know what EVP stands for? Anybody can tell me what EVP is? Ah, so smart. How do you say smart in Ukrainian? Huh? Rozumny. Very much so. So, this is what it is. Employee value proposition. You have to figure out, when we do an employer branding project, this is the one. Everything that we do, the analysis that we do in the beginning of a project, and the interviews we do with employees, and the focus groups, and the competitive analysis, it all comes down to this. We need to crack the EVP. If we find the right EVP, then we can succeed with our employer branding project and with the deployment. And it has to be something that is different. I went to a meeting yesterday morning. I was still in Tel Aviv with a customer that wants to do employer branding. And he said, yeah, it's so important to work for us. We're such a strong technology company. And I said, okay, why? I'm a full stack developer. Why should I work for you? And what did he say? Oh, we have top-notch technologies. Seriously? This is not something that is differentiating you from anybody else, okay? This is not enough. Everybody says top-notch technologies. Everybody says very good terms, benefits, blah, 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 no blah, blah, blah in EVP. EVP has to be very accurate and it has to be different. And I know that in Kiev there are so many IT and high-tech and technology companies. You have to be different from one another. So you have to find the one thing that makes you different and that is a good enough reason for employees to work for. It's not easy, but it's feasible. Okay? He's right. Now, there are two main targets. Why do I say there are two main targets to an employer brand project? Can anybody figure out what will be the targets?
Employees and external candidates.
Exactly. What is more? She said it right. Your name? Marina said it right. It's two main targets. It's the employees and the candidates. Which one is more important? Thank you very much. I think we can finish here. They know everything. Olga, I'm going. It was great meeting you. Very right. And this is a mistake that I see in a lot of companies. They said, listen, we need to do recruitment. Let's do recruitment campaigns. And wait. First, employees. It has to be from the inside out. It cannot be from the outside. I've witnessed several campaigns for very big companies that you all know, but I will not say their names, of course, because I'm saying bad stuff about them. I know for fact that they have employees that woke up in the morning, entered their car, started traveling to work, and saw billboard signs with a recruitment campaign they never knew about. They didn't know the message. They never knew there was a campaign. They are not related to this message. Big no. Wrong. Doesn't work. Okay? So this is how it should be. And is there anybody here from marketing department? Mime people? So it has to be together. For this to succeed, we have to work as HR with the marketing department. When we do such a project, the lead person from the company is HR. But when we start to develop the messaging, the concepts, the slogans, we have to get in touch with marketing and start working with them. It's a romance. And since most HR people are women, because we're smarter, sorry, and most marketing people are women, guess what? It's so much easier for us. Seriously, I've been a marketing person forever, and I always worked with R&D managers and sales managers. They always know everything. R&D managers definitely know everything. And then I meet with HR people and they listen. Big surprise. I like it. So it's a good combination. It's a love story. Okay? This is just an example of some questions. I don't know how well you see because of the light. Can you see what's written up there? So it's just to give you a feeling of what kind. I thought they were taking pictures of me, but no, they're taking pictures of the slides. Okay, I'm not insulted. This is just an example of what kind of questions you would ask when you start a project, when you start analyzing your company. So some of the questions are very, very obvious, right? Why would someone want to work for you? Why would someone choose you over your competition? That's an easy one. But there are some that are more complicated. For example, I really like the second one. What percentage of your managers know how to deliver the employer brand? I've seen it in many companies. You create an employer brand, it's very, very clear. Managers understand it, but when you sit with them and listen to how they try to explain it, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to explain it. It's not enough to create the language. We have the obligation to do the deployment, meaning we have to help them, these managers, and many of them are professional managers, so their human skills may not be the best, okay? They have to know what is the right way to deliver it, okay? We have to look at all these questions and a lot more. This is just an example. And we have to check them before we start and after we start. Because like in every project, we have KPIs. We want to see the results. So if this is easy, what percentage of your employees would recommend your company to their friends? So if we started the campaign and only 10% said they would recommend, we need to see how this percentage grows with the project, okay? With the deployment stages. We have to check ourselves all the time. It's not just checking the specific campaigns. Not just checking what happened on Facebook, how many likes, how many PRs, and so on. Also checking the perspective, checking the involvement, checking the engagement. There's a lot of ways to do it. A lot of surveys, a lot of questions, a lot of things that I will show in a minute. So before we start talking about storytelling and how to find creative ways to give the correct message, let's show you an example. Where is Olga? Olga, are you here? Can I show it from here? See if you have the movies in the meantime. Okay. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about storytelling, and then we'll show you Adidas after, I promise. It's a great one. It's a great story. So when we talk about employer branding, and I said that in the beginning, we do a lot of discovery and a lot of analysis and competitive analysis and employee interviews and management interviews and so on, and then we get to the part where we need to tell the story. It is not one message. It has to be a story. It has to cover everything. And it has to be aligned when I'm talking with the employees, when I'm talking with candidates, when I'm talking with passive candidates, which is a very important part of what we do, okay? Everything has to talk together. The storytelling part is the basic tool. It has to talk about our goals. It has to inspire the people to want to work for us. When we talk about Generation Y again, and it's not only them, but it's very strong when we talk about Generation Y, they need to see a cause. They want to learn why. Why should I come work for you? Not because of the salary. Not because you have a gourmet chef. This is nice. It's nice. It's not why they will stay, okay? All researchers will show you very clearly. People will not stay because of the food. People will not stay because of the restaurants, not even because of the salary. They will stay because there's a higher cause, there is a higher meaning, there is something emotional. That's why it's so easy for us to connect to it. Because HR, and I'm saying us even though I'm a marketing person, but I already feel part of the HR community, we talk about feelings, we talk about emotion, and this is where employees want us to be, okay? What happened? Okay, I know the slides by heart, so it's okay. It's only the movies that I can do by heart. So when we look at that, we can look at a lot of examples on how to do it right, and I want to tell you a story. The story I have is about Microsoft, their R&D center in the Valley in San Francisco. This is an R&D center where they have everything. Like I said, they have gourmet chef, and they have very good benefits. It is Microsoft after all. I have to say that Microsoft in Israel are my customer, so I'm happy with them doing everything they're doing. But this specific story is something that can be done in each company that I know, very easy to implement, and very strong in delivering the story. And what am I talking about? They have decided to conduct a short survey but not the regular survey about engagement and how happy you are and so on. The survey was about things you like to do at home. They asked a lot of questions about what kind of sports you do, what kind of hobbies you have, what do you do with your family, what is your preferred book, your preferred movie, your preferred anything. What about animals? Do you have pets? Do you like pets? A lot of questions. And when they got all the answers, they meant to do something with that. Yeah, it wasn't just for nothing. First of all, people liked being asked questions about their personal life. They thought it was nice. The employees didn't know why they're asking these questions. But the actual fact that the people from Microsoft, their managers, were interested in their personal life, they liked it, so they answered. So the rates of answering this survey were very high. When they got all the forms back, they realized something very unique. How many people in this room have pets at home? Not enough. How many people have cats as a pet? Okay, so in the Microsoft survey, they found out that 65% of employees have cats. Personally, I have a cat and a dog, and I think they're nicer than my 4 kids, definitely. They like me better. I have teenagers at home. We'll talk about it later. They're not nice to me. And they realized 65% of their employees have cats. And that's when they decided to act upon it. They created a competition. They said, hey, everybody, we want you to do pictures of cats. Go take a picture of your cat at home, of your friend's cat, of your uncle's cat, whatever. Send us the pictures. We're going to do a competition. We're going to choose the best pictures out of the pictures you send, and the person who has the best picture will receive an award. So naturally, especially those who have cats, all took pictures of their cats and sent the pictures over. They didn't choose it themselves, of course. They created in the portal, they created a competition. All employees were invited to vote which are the best pictures. And they chose 12 best pictures. 12 months. Microsoft, meow you doing. Calendar, that's the name of the calendar, for real. It wasn't invented by me. They created the calendar, they made a surprise to the employees. One morning, the employees arrived to work, and on each desk, there was a beautiful, big-size calendar with the 12 pictures chosen. Of course, the graphic designer created some, adjustments. The name of the employee was credited for each picture that was chosen. These employees, these 12 employees that their pictures were chosen, received an award, of course, and they created the calendar. But then they did something else. Since they are looking for community contribution, okay? So they checked which are the NPOs, non-profit organizations that work with cats. And what they did is they printed these calendars, I think 150,000 copies, and they invited employees who want to join doing good for the community of cats to go and sell these calendars. There are like fairs of NPOs where they sell their stuff and everything goes to the community. So they went on those sale days, and all the income from selling the calendars went to one of the NPOs that deals with pets. Easy, very well connected to the employees. We have a full range of activities around it. So simple, connecting to what people in the R&D center of Microsoft really like. Each of you has things that is in common for your employees. Many companies, they bring their friends. It's like closed groups, right, within the companies. It's so easy to find something that everybody likes. So this is just one activity. It's not connected to the main EVP. The only thing that is connected here is the fact that there is a contribution to the community, which is something that is very high in the selling points of Microsoft for their employees. But it's very easy to implement. Another example is what they did in General Electric when they wanted to demonstrate a very clear goal. General Electric, they have a lot of problems lately, but they do have one goal that was initiated a year ago, and the goal is to have at least 20,000 women in technical roles by 2020. This is the goal they're declaring. I don't know if we can see the General Electric movie. We can, so let's see it for a second.
Millie, dress will have stop. Happy birthday, sweetie.
Millie Dresselhaus sing. We are so glad to have you here.
What if we treated great female scientists like they were stars?
Une photo avec vous?
What if Millie Dresselhaus, the first woman to win the National Medal of Science and Engineering, were as famous as any celebrity?
Millie Dresselhaus was seen having lunch today.
Rumors of a new discovery.
What if we lived in a world like that? We know a place that's already working on it.
So this is an example of how you take a goal and create a full story of it. They are working to achieve this goal because they have understood, like many companies did, how important diversity is. Diversity, I'm going to make a spoiler to my last slide, but diversity is definitely the main issue right now, okay? Everybody is dealing with it. So they have decided to go through the issue of women, technological women in technological roles, and they are all working for that, okay? So this is just another example. This is not my slide. Just give me a hint of what is the next one. I can do it. Okay. Okay. So now it's your turn to talk. When we talk about storytelling, we talk about messaging. And when we talk about messaging, we need to understand what is a good message and what is the right message for the company and what is not very fit for the company. So I'm going to do a little quiz here and see if you can tell me. For example, the first slogan, "We Pioneer." Do you know whose slogan it is? Anybody? Yeah, no, but who is the company that you... Who is the company? No, it's an actual company. Not Sony, no. Not Pioneer. Not Tesla. Tesla would be a very good company to use this. I will tell them that. We'll call them later. Unfortunately, it's not Tesla. Anybody? I'll give you a hint. How can I give you a hint? I'll just tell you. But it's only the first one. The second one you have to figure out on yourselves. Amazon. Now, do you think it's a good slogan? Anybody here from Amazon, so I don't get sued? It's not represented in Ukraine. But you hear it. But this is, I remind you, this is a slogan for employees. Is "We Pioneer" a good slogan for a company? I think, by the way, what's your name? Veronica said it right. If it was Tesla, I would say yeah. I mean, we invite you to do the next big thing, the innovation thing in the world of cars. But Amazon, they are innovators in what they did, but that was relevant a while ago. It's not as relevant today. It doesn't deliver a core message. They just changed it. They heard my lecture now. They just changed it lately because one of the problems that we see, if before employer branding was very strong, most companies in their employees' statements used very general messages. They're not doing this anymore because they understood employees, they don't like those general messages like top-notch technologies. It's not enough. We need something more. And then we have create a world that inspires human connections. Facebook. It would fit Facebook, I agree. Very good. She knows. You checked it? She checked it. She Googled it. Oh my God. No use of phones from now on. My sister is a teacher, so. This was, the slogan they had a few years back was very different, was very similar to Amazon's. Very, very general. And what happened? Googlers, like they like to call themselves, started feeling a bit uncomfortable with the fact that Google is getting a lot of attention, that they are being, big brother type, they know everything about us, they are ruling the world, they're kind of being a monster, and Google understood that they have to do a change. They have to make a change. I went to this lecture by the employer brand manager of Google, who sits somewhere in Europe, I can't remember where, and he said, we understood we have to be more humble. And we have to go back to our basic essence. And the basic essence is this. This is what they came out with. Organize the world's information, make it universally accessible for all. We are here, this is what they're saying, to their employees and to their potential employees. We are here to help everyone get the information they need. And in order to make this message even more relevant for their employees, they created this movie. You have the Google movie?
Still have to push forward.
Are you ready to shake up the world?
It takes an act of love to realize we are all in this together.
We made history tonight.
Look at that. It's emotional. I can't explain why, but it is.
I'm asking that you guys join and mobilize with me.
I will say it right now out loud. Me too.
Me too.
Me too. Me too.
Put your hand back on, bro. You want to shake it, bro. The things that make us different, those are our superpowers. Go out there and conquer the world, because the world would not be as beautiful as it is if we weren't in it.
Something that you noticed about this movie, besides the fact that it's very emotional and brings all the good causes, but did you notice something regarding accessible for all that they did in the movie? It's in Ukrainian, but even I could see that it has subtitles for deaf, right? So when you say that it's accessible for all, you have to make sure that you cover all bases. So it's not just subtitles. I know I don't speak Ukrainian, but I saw that, you know, in the parentheses you have screaming, right, and mopping and so on. So this is very important. If you're giving a message, you have to make sure that you cover all the details. And this is taking them into a very different area, right, of what they want to show and remind their employees the good side of working with Google. This was very effective for Googlers. This is where I start singing Plakala. Okay. So, and this is another example of when we're doing messages for our employees. Sometimes all you need is to remind your employees that they are the reason why. They are the reason why you succeed. They are the ones that you appreciate. What we did for Skybox Security is exactly that. We just reminded them that we think they are the best by saying, can you bring us someone just like you? This is all we wanted. So if I want to do a referral campaign, do you guys do referral campaigns? Yeah? How many people in the company arrive from referral? 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%? 50 and more. Perfect. It has to be, by the way, 50 and not more. I'll tell you in a second why. Okay? But if you reach the point where you know that referral campaigns can be very effective, you use these kind of messages. Sometimes all you need is to remind your employees that they are the best. Look what it says. It's very small, so you probably can't read. You are the best. Can you bring us someone just like you? Are you fun and creative? Then join us. What am I actually saying? That my employees are fun and creative. That my employees are the best. Now, why should we go beyond 50% in referral campaigns? What happens when friends bring their friends? It's the Lima, seriously? By the way, that's also true, but that's not the reason. They have the same DNA. You bring your friends, it's the people you like. It's the people you share the same, activities with. So when I want to get diversity, it's a problem. A lot of times it would be people bringing their friends from the university. So they went to the same university, they're from the same city, they have the same hobbies. This is against diversity. So we like referral campaigns, but we have to make sure that it's not 100%, 70%, 60%. 50%, amazing. I would go for 50, okay? Another way of telling the story is using a character brand. Do you guys have ideas of character brands that you know from the industry? Do you know the bunny from Duracell? Do you know him? Duracell, the batteries? No? Yeah? M&M's. M&M's, very good, yeah. So one of the ways of doing it is using brand character. Brand character is very well known in marketing. There's no reason why we won't use it in internal communications and employer branding, but there's a disclaimer here. It's a very complicated way of doing things. So it costs more because you have to create animation and you have to create movies and you have to keep working with this more and more. I don't know if you know Matrix Global. They are a very strong offshore company in Eastern Europe, operating in Bulgaria, Serbia, Macedonia. And what we did there is we created their brand character. Now, the way to do it is to work, first of all, with your employees to define what are the characteristics they think they own. So when we did this project with Matrix Global, this is what they said about themselves. They said, hey, we are cool, we are futuristics, we are friendly, we are smart, independent. This is what they expect the company to let them be independent, for example. And they perceive themselves as smart, as innovative. They have a lot of hobbies, everyone there. One of the things that we figured out, for example, is that we need to give them time for their hobbies. So if a person arrives to an interview in Matrix Global in Bulgaria, for example, one of the questions the recruiter will ask him is, what are your hobbies? And many of them, for example, like to bicycle, okay? So they know, because they have script that we already created for them, that if the person says that he likes to cycle, she tells him, listen, there's no problem if you want to arrive to work 3 times a week later because you go cycling or running or whatever you do. You can take a shower in the office and you can start later. It's good. We agree to that. We're flexible. So this is part of the things that you find out about your employees, not only their professional knowledge, okay? And after we realize what are those characteristics, and we put the main ones here, this is the character we created. His name is Rix. Rix, his last name is Globy, Matrix Global. This is not the name we invented. This is the employees invented. There was, again, a competition, and they chose this name. He has big eyes because he thinks a lot. He's very smart. He's happy. When he's happy, he's got this yellow bulb up there, but when he's sad, it goes down. When he's upset, it gets red. When he's insulted, it kind of pulls down. He's everywhere now, okay? We have movies of Rix. We have Christmas parties with him and his friends in the office taking pictures. He has his own Facebook page. In Facebook, you can do that. In LinkedIn, you cannot, right? But he has his own image. One of the things that we did is that we created his Facebook page with his life story. We didn't tell he's connected to a Matrix yet. He presented himself on Facebook. The employees knew, so they participated, yeah? But he presented himself in Facebook as a very frustrated employee in one of the big companies, and he's looking for a job. This is how we started. And our recruiters from Matrix Global started talking to him, answering him on Facebook, suggesting what he should do. And after 2 months of being frustrated and complaining about everything we wanted to show that we have and others don't, suddenly he published a life-changing event. He became a Matrix Global employee, okay? So that's the way to do it, and it's used everywhere. And one of the things that you should know when you do a very good character brand, you will see that marketing will also want to use it in their marketing collaterals. So now it's used for customers. He's a real celebrity now. I won't show you his movie because I don't want to be ahead of time, but you can see the movies on YouTube, okay? Now, of course that I cannot do this lecture without talking about digital and social media. These are the main assets that we have. You guys have LinkedIn pages? Company LinkedIn pages, I mean. Not enough hands. Facebook pages? Instagram? Depends how young your employees are, right? How young should they be for Instagram? Which age of employees would need an Instagram page? 15. They don't work. They work in Ukraine in 15. No. 20 plus. 20 plus up to 28, because then they also have Facebook, so you don't have to, right? So it depends how childish they are, yeah. My kids think I'm very old because I have a Facebook page. And they keep making fun of me because I use Facebook a lot, and they say, Mom, you're so old. Facebook is for old people, just so you know it. What about Twitter? Do you use Twitter? But I wouldn't emphasize Twitter in the European market, right? In the States, it's a must. In Europe, it didn't get that much attention. Do we want to talk to people from Russia? We don't like them very much, right?
People from Russia, like developers, a lot of people are marketing their stuff in Russia because they can't escape from that life. So we are supporting people who want to escape from Russia.
And you use Twitter for that. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. So digital and social media are crucial, okay, for everything we do. And just a few things about that. I spoke before about the fact that we actually have 3 audiences. Usually everybody talks about 2 audiences, our employees and our potential employees. But there is a 3rd one. What is the 3rd one? I talked about it a bit in the beginning. The 3rd one is the passive candidates. Passive candidates, and the way to attract them and the way to connect with them is basically the social media. Passive candidates are those who, in terms of their profile, because you do the profiling of your potential employees or the people who work for you, in terms of their profile, they are a perfect fit. They have the right education, they live in the right place, they have the right experience from the companies you want to recruit from, they're in the right age, their salary expectations fit, everything is a fit. There's only one problem. They're not looking for a job. They're happy, unfortunately. We'll take care of that. We'll make them unhappy. No, we're happy that they're happy for now, but there will come a day when they will look for a new job, right? So what we want to do is be in touch with them for the whole time. Touch points. And the best thing to do it is through digital, through social. They need to see us. We have to be present. So the morning they wake up and tell their husband, you know what? 3 years I've been working for, I'm not going to say a name, I'm not going to get in trouble. Amazon, they're not here. 3 years I've been working for Amazon. I think it's time for me to look for a new job. You know what? I saw these ads and these posts by Dan IT. I think I'm going to go work there. I'm thinking maybe Dan IT or Sikrum, I'm not sure. For Rima. Rima? Is she here? So we have to consider them as well. And we have to do a very holistic digital life cycle management. So we work in posts and we promote our positions, but we also promote a lot of content coming from our employees. We also promote a lot about the life in our company. How does it feel like to work for? A lot of material that comes from inside again, and some professional information. So there has to be a mixture. You have to prepare a content plan that creates everything, that relates to everything that is relevant for them. And the main idea is to create a long-term relationship with these 3 audiences. And employees that are part of this through brand ambassador campaigns, for example, or brand ambassador programs, which I highly recommend that you do, okay? These are the ways for these employees to stay engaged as well. So this is how we fill the polls. And when we look at all the activities we do on the ongoing deployment of employer branding, marketing people sitting in the audience know this funnel very well. We use it in marketing all the time. It applies to employees as well. We have to look at all the channels and understand that we keep working in all channels together. 3 audiences, 4 audiences, 5 audiences. Depends on how many different type of professional people you have. But we have to connect with them through physical channels and digital channels. Meetup is an excellent example, okay? All the things that I spoke about in digital and social is a very good example as well. Do we have any questions so far? about this? Something about the digital channels? Oh. So let's talk a bit about the future, okay? I said before, I did a spoiler, diversity is the main game changer. All researchers show that if you have a diverse company, you have a more successful company. It's not just women and men. It's from different societies, it's from different areas, it's from different ethnographic locations. Everything has to be considered. If you have a strong culture, if you have a diversity, you have a stronger culture. If you have a stronger culture, you have a better performance, and the last line, like the profit line of the company, gets stronger. There's no doubt about it. Our job in employer branding and your job as HR managers or HR professionals is done much easier now. Everybody understands that this is the way to do it. Excuse me. Now, I can give you just one example that I really like about, for example, the issue of women and men. How many people here work in technology companies? Most people? A lot of people? Okay, so let's talk about technology companies, for example. How many men versus women in technological positions?
I can tell. Like, we have a manufacturer in India, and like a lot of women working in manufacturing.
In manufacturing. But if you talk about IT, high-tech, development positions.
We have different positions, drone developers, the hardware developers, and all these things. Like, diversity breakdown in India is more higher than in Ukraine, because in Ukraine, women unfortunately not interested in technology.
So let's say you want to hire more. By the way, this sentence is not correct. It's just that this is what they taught us. It's not that women are not interested in technology, it's that women were not exposed to technology as men did. We're changing it now, yeah? Girl power.
I would like to feel like honest with you. So, be honest to Ukrainian people. Ukrainian women choosing more easier ways.
No. What's your name? Lubov, I don't agree with you, but we'll talk about it later, okay? What we think and what we see is that women, it's true, they are less in technology than men. There are so many reasons for that, okay? But the fact is that many companies, like the General Electric example I showed, they want to have more women. Now, if I have a job where I want more women to apply, but unfortunately I have more men applying, not enough women applying. So one of the studies they didn't realize, and it's very easy to change what we're doing accordingly, is concerning the way we apply for jobs, women versus men. And what they found out in those research is that women will send their CVs only if they look at the job requirements and they feel they have 100% of the requirements fulfilled. Men, however, and this is not a compliment, they would send their CVs if they have what percent of qualifications? 50%. It looks good enough. I'm smart. I can do this. 50% is good enough. So now that's a problem. I have no idea why it is like that. I don't think that I should also always have 100%, but 50% is very low. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, but this is a situation. This was researched. It has a signature of a very important professor. This is a well-known fact. Now, what did companies start doing? They reduce the amount of qualification needed in the job requirement post. So it's not that they don't want us to have these requirements, but they don't post it anymore. They make smaller requirement posts, okay? The job looks more appealing now to women who don't have all the applications, and they do the screening after. So now we have more women applying, and we can have a choice. If I have 100 men submitting their CVs and 2 women, I don't have a choice. But if I have 200 people, 100 men, 100 women, I have a headache because I have to screen more CVs, but I can have a choice. So check out, there's so many information about it. By the way, a lot of excellent articles by LinkedIn explaining how to do it right. Check them out, see how you change your job postings, for example, and here you have a solution, at least for women-men diversity. Now, same examples exist for other diversity issues that we want to solve. Just check them out. It's so much easier to do it like that, okay? Now, another thing that is very critical, when we're doing recruitment now, in the future of work, is using data and using AI techniques. There are a lot of ways, for example, by which I can see if somebody is more fit to the company through the data I collect about him. I don't collect only data from his CVs, right? I look at his Facebook page, his LinkedIn page, his Twitter page, and so on, okay? And I want to show you a very nice example how Volvo created this.
Brussels Motor Show, the biggest car event in Belgium, where all car brands show off their newest technologies. But it was Volvo who hijacked all the attention with the first car that could recruit its own technicians. Volvo presents the recruiting car.
Ik ben de HR90. Ik ben op zoek naar onderhoudstechnici voor de Volvo-fabriek in Gent.
200 job openings were announced on social media, inviting everyone to come and check out the first car that recruits its own engineers. To conduct the interviews, we tapped into the car's technology.
Welcome, Oliver. Glad to see you put on your blue shirt for the interview. Can you show me where my electric compressor is?
Sure, here.
Please allow me to play some piano music to make you feel more comfortable. Tell me, why should I hire you?
I've been passionate about.
By applying AI, we could actually test social and technical skills and make unbiased evaluations of all applicants. These were sent to Volvo's HR managers for further interviews. Changing the conversation from cars to jobs got us national media attention.
Et l'entretien d'embauche sera d'abord mené par un véhicule et par son intelligence artificielle.
70% of all news coverage about the Brussels Motor Show was dedicated to Volvo. More than 1 in 2 Belgians was reached through PR coverage alone, leading to 300% more price requests. And the 200 vacancies, well, they were all filled.
So as you can see, this movie talks about the marketing impact that this campaign has. And this is where we join forces again. So if we do it right and it has the right impact, it will impact our customers as well. Now, if you ask me, I would never enter a car for an interview, okay? That's my limit. But that's a different kind of audience. They're not looking for me. They're looking for technicians. For them, the car is their natural place. This is where they're used to working. So they loved it. They loved the idea. They wanted to join in. And they created a very strong marketing impact. So this is just one example of how to use AI. But AI can be used throughout the onboarding process, throughout the employee life cycle. I don't know if you know tools like ServiceNow, for example, that through the surveys, you know ServiceNow? So through the surveys that they have in their new version, they have surveys like regular employee engagement surveys that you probably do once in a few months, but their surveys also collect data about the possibility of you leaving the company. So if, for example, I fill the survey, and it's got questions that I'm used to answering, but they are also checking my perspective and my engagement level. And if they notice that you, for example, have 50% chance that you will be looking for a job soon, then your manager will get an alert saying, listen, what's your name? Kate. Very easy names today. Kate is probably going to look for another job. There's 50% chance. Now, it's up to you to decide what you do with that. You can either do something preventive, and you have enough time because you're just thinking about it, or you can say, thank God, I wanted Kate to leave so badly already. Okay, now, in the same notion, there are new interview techniques. You are interviewing, right? Do you feel that people come with answers that they already prepared at home? Yeah, problem. I don't know what about you, and I'm not an HR person, so it's more difficult for a person like me. I sit in an interview, and sometimes I finish the interview and I go to my HR manager and I tell her, listen, I don't know. It seems like the answers were all right, but I didn't get the feel about the person. He was too ready for the interview. So there are very many new interview techniques, from auditions instead of interviews, that the person arrives for a few days and works with the team. He gets paid, by the way, but he can audition me as well when I'm auditioning him into small issues that you can do. One example is what we call breakfast with the CEO. It doesn't have to be the CEO, it can be anybody else. Instead of interviewing in the office, you invite the person for an interview outside. There's a lot to learn from a person who sits in a restaurant with you, who eats breakfast with you. I even heard about this CEO that has agreement with the restaurant where he goes to interview. This is a mean one, okay? He invites the interviewers to an interview over breakfast. So they have to order breakfast. This is not just coffee. It's more complicated. So they order breakfast because they're polite and they were invited for breakfast. And the restaurant already knows to destroy some of the things that they order. So, for example, they order black coffee and they get milk coffee. Or they order scrambled eggs and they get I don't know what. And he's looking at the responses. A, how do they turn to the waitress? This is something that I check always. How do a person speak with a person who's giving him service? More important, I'm going to be his boss, so he's going to be nice to me. But how is he speaking to somebody at the reception? How is he speaking to the waitress when he received black coffee instead of white coffee, God forbid? Okay? Is he saying anything? Because if he's being too assertive, I don't like it. If he's being, nervous, I don't like it. She's a waitress. Be nice. But if he's not saying anything because he's embarrassed of me, even worse, yeah? So this is different ways. It's a little bit harsh to do this, but even if you don't spoil their breakfast, if you invite a person outside and you see how he behaves with the surroundings, I personally have an agreement with our receptionist. I have two things that I do in the office. One is she talks with them a little bit before I arrive, and then she gives me her impression on how they talk to her. And second, we bring a lot of dogs to work. We talked about pets before. I bring my dog all the time. We agreed already, he's the nicest person in the family. And I see how people treat him when they come in. So I know it's not fair. Some people don't like animals. Some people don't like dogs. But it's different if people ignore or if people relate. If people smile or kind of... So it makes a difference to me. I know it may be not fair to everyone, but this is something that matters to me. Okay? So what we need to do is check a lot of elements. Not just do you have motivation? Yes. What is the worst thing anybody ever told about you at work? Boring. Okay? So let's do what Heineken did, because they did a genius thing in their
What's your management style?
Passionate. Passion.
And what's your biggest weakness?
Being stubborn. Stubborn, I think.
Okay, give me one reason why I should hire you.
Because sports is my passion. I'm really passionate about football.
Really like a football.
When you are looking for a job or an interview,
either brushed.
You look good. You feel good.
Hello, how are you? Okay, Rings. Okay. And so you liked it when we were walking hand in hand?
It made me feel comfortable, yes.
Oh, interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time, I suppose.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr.
Russell, very nice weekend.
Thank you.
So, are you sure?
I'm fine. I'll get a little water in a second.
Okay, you say now.
Stay like this.
If we're talking about money, how much money do you think you would like to have for the position? Last time this happened was at a disco.
The disco day?
Fire and passion or cold and calculated?
I would say cold and calculated because...
Wrong answer.
fire and passion. Other people get infected by my enthusiasm.
You think I'm getting infected right now?
We need to go. Come, Simon, Mr. Ross, please. Come on, we need to get going.
Missing a hand here. Can you help us, please? Sir, can you help us, please?
There's a fire or something.
We have a gap here. Sir. Just one. Okay, wait back. Okay, he's okay. Okay.
This is the employees voting, okay? After they saw these movies, they voted inside the company. There's one more thing that Heineken is doing. They are, if you enter the website, if you go to their career page, you can do a quiz, no strings attached. You can find out what is perfect for you. So they are offering you this kind of quiz that will help you decide what kind of job will be the best fit for you. You don't have to apply for a job at Heineken, but talking about data and AI, they are collecting this information, of course. And at the end of the quiz, which has, as I said, no strings attached, they just tell you, listen, according to the answers of your quiz, these are the things that you will be more happy working at. And by the way, these are the 3 positions at Heineken that will fit you the best. You can apply and you cannot apply. So they're giving you something for you. So the what's in it for me is tagged. Everybody's happy about that. But they also make you feel that they're offering you now the best position according to what fits you. So you're most likely to go and check what it is, right? And this is something that they're doing for free. Anybody could go in and join this quiz. And it is very helpful for them when they are looking for recruitment. And they can also collect the data from the quiz because they do ask you for your information. And they can start, you know, do remarketing activities on you, follow you on LinkedIn, Facebook, and so on. Get all these touch points that we talked about before in terms of digital touch points, all taken care of, okay? So, if I want to summarize, so you won't be too tired from me talking so much, it's a new era. Employer branding actually represents this new era. It's no longer about us just questioning which are the best candidates for us. It's also for the candidates asking themselves what is the best job. They are auditioning us as much as we are auditioning them. And we have to make sure that we sell them the right proposition, okay? Listen to see the first one. 1/3 of new hires leave within the first 6 months. This is an epidemic. This is why employer branding is a business function. This is why HR directors receive actual budgets to handle this situation. A company cannot afford for people leaving after 6 months like that. This is something, speaking about KPIs we talked about before, this is something to try to achieve, to try to lower down. And this is what employer branding does, okay? Now, employee experience is at the basic of this. We said we are working from inside out, right? We first of all take care of the employee. And when we talk about employee experience, we like to refer to 8 elements or 8 fundamentals that people are looking for in a job. So they want their status to be correctly, to represent what they really are, okay? They want their performance to be acknowledged. A lot of employees that I interview tell me, nobody tells me anything about what I do. Nobody tells me what will happen if I'll do this better next year. People need to be acknowledged. They need to get appreciation on their performance. They need to know that the career path is planned and not just, you know, drifting around. They need to learn all the time. They want to be involved in innovation. They want to get empowerment. People that are asked what they feel, people that are asked on surveys what we should improve, and we actually act upon it. This is empowerment, okay? And they need most people, not everyone, but most people would prefer teamwork and would like to have a purpose of what they do. But there is also a ninth element, and the ninth element is fun. Make it fun. People spend most of the day at work. Millennials less, but still. They want to enjoy what they're doing. They want to have fun when they come to work. They want people smiling. I don't know if you know SodaStream. Do you know him? I'm talking about the CEO. The CEO of SodaStream is a huge success story. It's a story Israelis like to tell a lot because he's Israeli. And he basically took a company that was worth a couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars, going down all the way, and turned it into a $1 billion company, more than a few billions, that was sold just lately. And when he speaks on stage about values, he says, SodaStream doesn't have business values. We have human values. And the main value is that our company is optimistic. This is from a person who took a company and turned it into $1 billion company. So don't take it from me, take it from him. Optimistic is a very important word. Having fun at work is important to us. We want to enjoy what we do. And people who don't enjoy what they do, they will not stay, or they will leave mentally. So maybe they will stay, but you don't want them to stay because they don't do what they need to do. And you have to raise their emotional value. And the way to do it is to use everything that you really have. So it has to be authentic. It cannot be something that I invent. If I want to be something, but I'm not there yet, I cannot use it. I can get there and then I can use it. So be authentic on what you do. And now, it's your turn. Questions, please. Anyone? Yes.
What KPI do you measure and how do you measure it?
What's your name? Your name?
Mary.
Mary. Thank you, Mary. I actually had a slide about it, but I took it out because it was too long, but I will tell you. We have all sorts of KPIs, okay? We check internal KPIs and external KPIs. If you take the easy ones will be, okay, we did the stages of employer brand project. So we have mainly 3 basic stages of discovery, analysis that I talked about, storytelling, creating the messages and the creative design and everything, and then creating the assets and do the deployment, okay? So when I begin the deployment, I take every channel I want to work here in, every activity I want to do, and I add the KPIs to it. So if I do a Facebook page, how many people are engaged to my Facebook page? How many new likes? How many people refer their friends? How many employees are part of my Facebook page? So some of the competitions you would do is, I'm doing a competitions now to employees. The person who will do more shares, will get more shares from his friends, will get an award, for example, because I want the employees to be part of my Facebook page. If you talk about web career page, how many CVs do I get? It needs to grow. How many qualified CVs? So if I do a campaign, and instead of getting 50 CVs per month, I now get 200 CVs per month, but they're not relevant, it has to be qualified CVs. So I have to get to the right audience, not just create an audience, right? If I look about satisfaction, so did I manage to get a growth of satisfaction of the employees? This is also a KPI. Referral campaigns. I used to have 10% and now I have 30%, and so on. Okay? These are just examples. But any activity you do must have a KPI, because this is how we become a business function and not just doing, processes without a reason. Yes?
Hi. I have a question. You talked about the three customers for the employer brand, basically employees, potential candidates, and then the passive audience. And but I think it's a bit too late now to start with universities or the already existing employees on the market. And it seems that we should create the employer brand for kids, basically, yeah. Because the talent wars are getting hotter and hotter. Do you know any good cases of the employer brands for maybe school students or kids even?
Genia. Okay, so that's a good question. I don't think we should start at high schools or schools. I do think that if you take, this really depends on what you do. So if I go back to Microsoft as an example, they do a lot of activities in schools, okay? But that's because this is part of their strategy in general. And that helps when you go into hiring them, because it's harder to hire people when you do something that doesn't affect all the audiences. And it's more of a B2B product. And it's easier when you're Microsoft and everybody knows who you are. I think universities are very important. There's a lot to do in universities. Most companies don't do enough there in terms of scholarships and in terms of activities. I wouldn't go all the way to high schools to do that. I can tell you that a lot of companies, for example, robotic-related companies, would take sponsorship in events of robotics in high schools, which is nice in terms of contributing to the community and raising awareness. But it's like not a top priority, okay?
I'm sorry. You didn't say nothing about big idea of businesses, the main objective of businesses, and realizing of this big idea by employees. How important is it? What is your opinion about that? No. Yeah.
So, for example, your name? Ostap. Okay. Is that a Ukrainian name? Yes. Difficult one. He came with a difficult one. I hope yours is easier. I think the example I gave with Google is such an example of higher purpose, okay? Reminding the employees why they work there. Also the General Electric example of higher purpose, of how we leverage women who are strong in technology. There are many examples like that. I mean, it's not always available. We have to remember, we talked about authenticity. If I am a development company, software company who develops a change management solution or some kind of tool for managing databases, okay? I can try to talk about a higher purpose, but it's not going to sound well. If I'm Airbnb, I can try to talk about connecting people, but it's a little bit twisted. So you have to be true to yourself. There are two options. One is that you give them a higher cause through the job they do, and the other one is that you give them a higher cause through your contribution to community. So if I am, for example, a marketing agency, a true story, my company, okay, and I don't think that we are doing something that changes the world, because I'm a marketing agency. I know who I am. But I know that there are a lot of NPOs, non-profit organizations out there, who need marketing support, but cannot afford it. So as part of our strategy, we give marketing supports to non-profit organizations pro bono. So this is, our employees know, each one of them can choose out of the NPOs we work with, which is the NPO that he relates to, because I can talk about dogs forever, as you understood, but not everybody is like me. So anybody with the idea that he relates to, and there are tons of NPOs in Israel, unfortunately, okay? They can choose, and they do actual marketing activities for them. They write their posts, they write brochures for them, they do events for them, they even help them raise money when they can. Or I have employees who play the guitar, so they go and play in hospitals. So I know that what I do, my role in the world is, I cannot say that I'm doing good. It will be not fair. I'm a marketing person. Marketing for high-tech companies. So my way of doing it is through this. But each company has to find this higher purpose. Okay? And if you talk about community, if you look at the 2030 or 2040, it's not going to be about employer brand anymore. It's going to be about community brand. This is where the world is going to. This is why I said millennials are better than us. Okay? Better than me, not than you. I think you're a millennial as well. In the middle somewhere.
I have a question, like in your marketing practice, as far as I understand, you're working mostly with IT. Have there been any companies who have established themselves, not like the branding wasn't in the character, like for example the Dick Globy, yeah, but in the person. Like, was there a person as a brand, like behind the company?
This is a tricky one. Your name? Dunya. This is a tricky one, thank you, Dunya, because we are using a lot of presenters, and the problem with that is that it's a very short-term relationship. So presenters, A, are very expensive. I don't know here, but in the countries that I work in, very expensive. And the link to the company is not as strong, because I cannot take a presenter and create exactly the character that I want from him. The CEO, yeah. So SodaStream is a great example of how the CEO is in the front. I have a customer, Nova Measurements, they're dealing with physics, okay? I never understand what they do. I sit there with all these third degree in physics, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about something else. So their CEO, for example, is a very well-known doctor in physics, and he's a very strong presenter for us. So yes, I would use, from the company, I would use people, but you have to be careful about it. And I will say something else. A lot of employer branding campaigns that people do, we do it as well, are using employees. Movies with employees, videos with employees, photo shoots with employees. It is good, but it is risky. Employees leave. And you have a problem, because now I cannot use this poster, or I cannot use this roll-up or banner, because 3 out of the 6 people in the team there are not already working in the company. So it's good for short-term campaigns. But not for the, be careful when you use it, okay? Tell me when I need to stop. I need to stop. Okay, last one.
Hello, thank you. It is more or less clear about big companies, big brands, which established several years ago, or even epochs ago. But what is about startups? Because we are talking about employees, more or less, and but if it is a real startup, we establish the company today, for instance, and we want the best employees for our company in tech industry or something else. How we can you advise how we can attract them? Olga.
So I'm very happy that Olga is the last question, because this is a very important question. I gave a lot of examples of big brands, but most of the work I do, for example, is with startups. I enjoy Microsoft as a customer, but most of my customers are smaller ones. You saw Skybox Security. That's an example. It's very easy to do it with startups, and I'll tell you why. Because the engagement of the employees is very clear. When you have a company of 80 people, 200 people, 50 people, it's so clear. The value is so pure. They know exactly why they are there. The tough part is when they grow up and how you maintain, and if you have to change it a little bit, how do you explain to the core, the 50 people that started the company, how do you explain to them that we need to change? This is where it gets difficult. But finding their message and delivering their message, it's easy. It's the most authentic way of doing it. And in each company, you find the one thing that separates them. So startups are easier than Microsoft or Google. Okay? Thank you so much. Diokuyo? Yeah? Diokuyo.